So, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spring of Code. And so, Spring of Code, we are introducing some nice open source projects and some really great open source organizations. And today we have with ourselves Adil and Asala. So, Asala is the president of Grey Software, and Adil is the software engineer there. So, thank you very much for joining Asala and Adil. Please let us know a bit about yourself.
Wonderful. I guess I can start and then Adil can follow. It's wonderful to be here, Abhishek. Just a bit about our organization. We're an organization who's trying to build a world of empowered open source professionals, creating software that we can trust, love, and learn from. So right now, the way we're trying to bring that world into being is empower as many learners to create and use open source as possible. So I'm an ex-Google intern and a student at the University of Toronto. I'm also Pakistani, and when I came back in October of this year, Adil and I linked up around January, and since then he's been a core contributor. He connected me with Code for Cause, so I'm very pleased as to how everything's happened. Adil, I'll let you take it away from there.
Yeah, thank you so much. So my name is Adil Shazad, and I'm pursuing bachelor's in computer science from University of Central Punjab, and I'm a GitHub campus expert too. And I'm also working as a at Gray Software. So so that's introduction about me.
Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
really great. You are really doing amazing job in your like Gray Software. I have gone through the Gray Software documentation and the Gray Software on GitHub. That really sounds awesome, and the whole community is really fabulous. I have to say, like that's really amazing collaboration thing. Like I seen on the GitHub and all the Twitter handlers and everything else. So yeah, so if you can tell us more about the organization, the vision of your organizations, and how you're onboarding people around there.
Wonderful. Are we allowed to share demos during this process?
No, demos. You can show the demo after some time. So we have our
Sure.
agenda. Like you can give the introduction to organizations, and
Yeah.
then we will have a demo too. So yeah, really
No worries. I
awesome.
can give a high-level overview of sort of what our strategy looks like and how we're onboarding people. So right now, our strategy is open products and open education. So we believe that if we build open source products and then side by side we run university apprenticeship programs where students can get applied software engineering experience building those products, then you basically improve the open source ecosystem in two ways. You have open products, which the open source ecosystem always needs more of, and then you're also within the products, you're ensuring that there's adequate educational resources, adequate video tutorials. And so that's the vision of Gray Software. We want to create this open source software, but we also want to run these university programs side by side because it's hard contributing to open source as a side project. I want to make it part of the mainstream educational experience. And
Yeah,
just a little bit about the onboarding. If anybody would like to be onboarded into the organization, you can go to onboarding.gray.software. We have a fun little GitLab exercise for you. And if you're new to open source and you're a little like hesitant about what's Markdown, what's the merge request, what's the commit, we have a pretty good tutorial on there for everybody.
yeah, that really sounds interesting, and it kind of sounds like it's made for the learners. It's empowering the learners to use open source softwares and also create them. Like the whole idea of the whole idea of the Gray Software and the whole motivation behind like empowering open source, and then taking open source into the mainstream education really sounds fabulous and amazing, and it's a life changing or world changing you know an idea that could change the world. So that's the potential in the Gray Software Foundation. So yeah, that's really cool.
Abhishek,
And
if I can build off your point about how this can change the world, you
yeah,
seem to get how it can change the world, but for a lot of people who don't understand, right now there's, if we do a sum total, there's tens of thousands of engineering hours that we can leverage from capable fourth year students, because a lot of final year students, they work on some sort of applied project in their university, and I see that a lot of them, they're usually creating things from scratch, or they're doing an idea that's already been done. I think if we build a large organization where there's active products that all these students can contribute to, it's very hard to pay for tens of thousands of hours of engineering time from students. And I think if we do it in this way, we'll get a lot of that for free.
yeah, that's really true, and that's why I'm really loving the organization and whole of the idea. So so what are the tech stacks that the Gray Software is using? Like if I'm new, so what are the some prerequisites, like I should have some knowledge of some tech stacks or frameworks or something like that. So if you can share some light on that.
For sure. Essentially, the primary tech stack that we use is completely open on our organization website. So if I can just, as I'm talking, I can put some links over here. Um, I think if you go to org.gray.software/tech stack, then all of our technologies are
So
listed.
you can,
You can,
hope so. It's a great idea if you can share your screen.
I think Abhishek said that the screen sharing would happen later on, right?
Yeah, you can share the screen right now too, or
Okay,
we are gonna cover it in the demo section too. So that's all fine. Like if you want to share the screen right now, that's all up to you.
I see. I think right now I'll just speak at more of a high level. We
Yeah,
have everything listed out, and I think people can go through it because we also try to justify why we use a certain tech stack. But the guiding vision for our tech stack is we try to use as many open source products as possible, and even within like lots Angular, Facebook, Angular, React, Vue, all three are open source, but even within those, we try to see that which one of these is truly community driven and which one of these would be the easiest for university students to learn. So in my experience, I found that university students, they pick up Vue much quicker than React because Vue just follows within the HTML, CSS, JavaScript paradigm. You don't really have to have a lot of extra scaffolding. So you can check out all of our tech stack, but those are essentially the guiding philosophies behind our tech stack. It's got to be open. It's got to be easy to learn.
yeah. So really like the Vue part. Since I have seen many developers, like they have tried their hands on Angular, React, and Vue, and they admire the most. So the framework they admire the most is Vue. So yeah, really agreed with your point. Like Vue is really great, and it's really good for development, and it's really good for beginners too. And it solves everything, right? It's all great about Vue.js. So your organization is mostly built on Vue.js. Like most of the products are using Vue.js, and if someone is new to Vue, they can also learn. The best thing about Vue to me is like they have the best written documentation that I have ever seen. Like if you can compare their documentation with React and Angular, so it is far better to me. And that's really good about it. Like it's beginner friendly, and what you have mentioned is really gold. Yeah, great.
Thank you.
So yeah, so we can jump into the demo thing now. So you can share your screen, Sala
I
or Adil, anyone.
think I'll share my screen. Right now, it shows that my browser has blocked it.
Oh,
Wait, let me try again. All right, let me know
yeah,
if you
so there you
guys can
go.
see it.
Yeah, here we
One.
go.
Oh, there's screenception. Okay. So right now, if you visit our website, Gray.software, you'll be redirected to our organization website because we're currently rebuilding our landing page. But I think the organization website is really cool because essentially the vision of an open organization is not only to have open source software, but we also want to make all of our decisions open. And when we talk about things in an educational manner, we want for all students who may have a desire of launching their own organization, who may wonder what other people around are using, then right here we have all of our operation tools, software tools, the design tools we use, the languages and frameworks. I think for this community, this would probably be the most interesting section. But beyond that, we also have a complete ecosystem of many different .gray.software websites. We have some of them here, but I'll show you around our onboarding because for the Code for Cause community and anyone who's looking to learn, I think learning from the tech stacks that we use, all of the knowledge on the internet is open, but you can get guidance on what are some real world organizations using. So we use Vue to build all of these documentation websites, including this onboarding website. And I really recommend going through this onboarding website because it ties into this this category of the organization. So essentially, if you're somebody who wants to explore open source, then you can go through our onboarding process, and we have a very helpful guide that introduces you to forking and branching. It gives you a little bit of a YAML task, and then by the end, you create a merge request, and once it's approved, you'll get your profile on either the Explorers page. If you want to volunteer with us, you can be a volunteer, but essentially the onboarding process is the same for everybody. And I think if you've ever been hesitant about contributing to open source because you wouldn't know what you need to learn, what are the recommended accounts to have and resources, we tried our best to make this come together in one package for you all. And I want to give a shout out to Adil because Adil was very key in helping me set up all of this onboarding stuff. And we have a lot more coming in the near future. I think if you check out ecosystem.gray.software, we're trying to create all of these websites so that anytime a student wants software advice, they'll know where to go. You've seen the onboarding, and I guess two last things that we can show you. Oops, this is... I think there's an error here. It should be linking me to the glossary, but there's no worries. I can just check out the glossary from here. Over here, we're trying to create a repository of terms for students. So let me just make this light for you all. We're trying to create a helpful repository of terms for students, but then alongside the terms, you can easily search YouTube, DuckDuckGo, Google, or Wolfram Alpha. So I've noticed a lot of students, they usually ask questions, but they don't YouTube or Google search that well. So we said that we would take some of that hassle away either. And just, in accordance with the whole organization's philosophy, we just want to make the journey for a student trying to make it in the software industry, we want to make that journey easier. And there's a lot of people trying to help out in the interview preparation space, but not many who are trying to help out deeply in the software development phase, providing mentorship and resources, and also open products so you can learn. I remember when I worked at Google, Code Search, which is their internal search tool, that was the most useful documentation for me. So the goal is to create this large ecosystem of open source apps so that if you ever wonder, oh, how would I do login authentication? Well, we have 8 apps that implement login authentication. Maybe you use some of them. So then if you learn from the source code of something you use, excuse me, it's just an unparalleled learning experience. So that's the goal with this. If you want to volunteer with us, if you're just an open source explorer, if you want to join in on the ground floor and be one of our core staff, right now, our organization is completely open. If you prove your mettle and you have passion for spreading open source software on the planet, then we want to work with you. So I guess that's the demo I have for you.
First of all, the demo was really great. Like it's already looking like, so it's already I could get the intuition like that is really great for someone who is beginning, if someone who is just starting with the open source. Like it has really a lot good documentation part. Like I really like the GitHub, the introduction to GitHub, where you can learn the contribution workflow from adding files, committing files, to merging your changes. That's really great. It's because whenever we are talking about open source, the biggest barrier that comes into for the new beginners, like beginners are that there is they find themselves in problem when they are using Git and GitHub for the first time. So that is something that they should jump over. And
Yes,
after
it
that
should be
part, like
demystified.
yeah,
This
yeah.
whole
So
process should be demystified. I've been able to explain adding, committing, and when it's done through the browser, because nowhere in the onboarding process is there ever a terminal command. And people get
yeah.
stressed when there's a terminal command and like, what is Git? I've never done this before. So introducing it all within the GitLab ecosystem, it works.
Yeah, so there are some fans of React. Like any place for React devs in your organization?
So let me just, I guess I'll share my screen again because
Yeah.
there is a place for React developers. Right now, if I go back to our original, remember, Gray Software recently went a huge rebranding. So this was the old landing page, and we're currently revamping it. That's why I moved people over to the org repository. But if you check out our projects on the old website, there's a number of projects here. I believe the Physics Hub and Modify.video, they're both React projects. And Modify.video is a very exciting project. It's by a pioneer named Rahul from India. And right now, if you would like to contribute to his project, I think there may be room if you're willing to learn and you're willing to onboard. But we've essentially partnered with his project so that the students that are going to be coming from UET Mardan, let me just pull it up. This is our first cohort of students, apprentices. So a team of 2 or 3 is going to be assigned to Modify.video. So that's how we're making room for React developers. We're actively looking to collaborate or like onboard React-based projects. And also, I personally, I started with AngularJS at Google, and then I did React personally and for an academic project. And I finally settled on Vue because of how easy it was to learn. But I think our community on Discord is a great place. If you're a React developer and you would just like to say, hey, I made this, or hey, I'm stuck here, you could always ping. And even if someone isn't a React expert, their knowledge of JavaScript, ES6, HTML, CSS, somewhere they may be able to solve something for you.
Yeah, that's really great. So what thing is in common, like when we have different people, like when we are talking about an organization, so there should be like different tech stacks required. There should be like freedom of using tech stacks. So so someone who is learning React from the beginning, or who has started learning React as their first framework, so they can also contribute to the Gray Software Foundation. So they are really open, and they're open to many ideas too. So yeah, is there any option, like if someone came up with some ideas, like their own original ideas, so how they can get in touch with you, and they can contribute in your organization and things like that?
I see. So I'll share my screen again,
Yeah.
because these are all great questions. And I see that there's also questions down there. One of them is, can I contribute with Golang? I'm sure you're getting other questions where, can I contribute with X framework or Y framework? What did I want to show you guys? I wanted to show you the GitLab. So from here, we should be able to access our GitLab. We moved our primary development to GitLab because we found that it was easier to manage issues across multiple repositories in an organization. Especially like this, you get an entire issue board for the organization. But once again, the question is escaping. Oh yes, let me take you to the Gray Software's nest. I call the nest the place where projects come to either be incubated for the first time or return and come back with some sort of new plan. These are basically projects that aren't ready to go out of the nest yet. They're not ready to see the light of day or get some serious developers. If you have an idea and you even are passionate about a tech stack, I'm willing to I encourage everyone to develop with whatever technologies they like and build out their ideas. What I really want to create is an ecosystem where builders are building together. And if you want to get started, I would say take a look at some of our project concepts. We have this family tree explorer. So this is just it's not a fully fledged design document, but it's got enough so that if you come to me with a project concept that looks similar, I would be willing to hear you out, and we could map out a possible tech stack. If you don't have experience with certain things, we could point you in the right direction. And the goal is to make sure that all of this is then eventually democratized on our Learn website. But essentially, if you have a framework you like, let's say you like Blazor, let's say you're a fan of .NET framework, let's say you're a fan of Golang like our friend Dhruv here, all you have to do is you can have an idea, you can even pick one of the ideas here, and what I encourage is early on, don't worry too much about will this succeed as a product, will this see the light of day. Early on, you should be focused on developing your own personal engineering skill. And sometimes that happens with building and tearing down and building and tearing down. So whatever you like, whatever idea you have, or whatever idea you like from our ideas, I would say you can start building. Even if you want to build a clone of one of our projects in your favorite framework, I highly encourage it because all of it contributes to the open source ecosystem because it's built with minds. And as the minds become more proficient, the open source ecosystem will become stronger and grow
Yes.
more
So that's
exponentially.
Yeah, so that really sounds amazing. And so we have Sheetal Jain. We have a question from Sheetal Jain, like what skills are required? So yeah, so it's already been answered. Like the skills are right now doesn't matter, but right now we have the Gray Software have most of the products built on Vue, and they're open to any other frameworks too. So if you came up with any idea, or if you want to contribute to anything else, you can just reach out to the mentors, and Yeah. So other than that, Adil and Asal, if you can share some light on that, like what skills are required. Like I guess it is already answered.
No, I think like it has sort of been answered. Like we've talked about the onboarding process, which walks you through some things. We have the tech stack up, and free code camp, YouTube. You can learn whatever skills you want. The tech stack is up online, and even if we don't use something, if you see something within the organization where you're like, hey, scripting this process with Python could make the organization more efficient, then I'm very willing to hear you out. I do want to give the floor to Adil for a little bit. You've had to learn quite a few new skills as you've come into the organization. What would you say the top 3 skills have been that you had to learn?
For me, the JavaScript is one of the most important skill right now, and after this, Python. And I think that the sites which I found more helpful are Free Code Camp and Scrimba.
Scrimba,
Scrimba,
yes.
yeah, Scrimba. If you can just go to SCRMBA, just Google it. It's one of the
Yeah.
best sites which provide free courses, also boot camps. So you can play and you can watch videos around. You can play. So this is something new in the online world. So I found it so useful. So for the JavaScript, I recommend Scrimba and Free Code Camp too, man.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing the resources, like really great resources for someone who is starting. And yeah, we do have so one other question. Like I love to contribute, but I don't know where to start and when to start. I learned lots of tools and DevOps, etc. How to reach mentors, etc. Yeah.
Yes. This is a good question. And Ritesh, when I started this organization, the only experience I had with open source was publishing my projects on GitHub so I could get hired at Google, and then working on Android at Google. So I hadn't really managed an open source community. I didn't know how to onboard new developers. When you say I love to contribute, but I don't know where to start, I don't know if onboarding is the right place to start for you, because I think you're asking more of like if I know a project that I would like, how do I go and contribute to it? For that, there's a contributing.md on most repositories. And I think the contributing.md needs to be evolved a little bit. Like if you check our old website, on the calls to action, one of the calls to action was get mentorship. So I think there's nothing that can help a new contributor like an hour of call with a maintainer, because then you can get to know each other. You can ask the maintainer, where do I fit into your plan? They can walk you through the milestones. But I would say this is still an area of active research for me. Within Gray Software, I would say the best thing is get on our Discord channel. You can start communicating with the mentors. If you're in DevOps, Adil's yesterday, we decided that he was going to start taking care of automation development. So if you're interested in DevOps and automation development, if you love DevOps as much as Adil's shirt does, then I'm sure you're going to have a good time. We want to work with people who are energetic, who want to learn, who are intelligent, who are willing to read the documentation and then make the organization better. So if if you have the potential within you, this is a great place to explore it.
Yeah, so we have another question from Cavallia. If a person contributes to Gray Software, what all skills can a person show on his her resume?
That's a great question. So it would depend on where you come in and contribute. But I would say, like Adil, since you started at Gray Software, what new skills would you put on your resume? Maybe Adil.
So like, can you please repeat again?
Sure. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm
this
here.
Kaiwalia asked, if a person contributes to Gray Software, what can they show on their resume? What skills? So you've been working with me
Yeah,
since
so
January 15th. since January 15th, what new skills would you put on your resume?
For me, the LinkedIn is the platform which I call resume. So when I just
Okay.
contribute on the open source world, I can share with my community on LinkedIn. So and afterwards, if I just contribute and Google some more of code, I can just add up in my experience. So this create a my live resume. So I think
Okay, Adil, I
so. If you can just
agree.
contribute,
LinkedIn is a good alternative for the resume, but let's say
yeah.
since January, what did you learn new at Gray Software? What skills
So
can you add that were new?
yeah, eventually, before joining Grace Software, I was a Python Django developer. But at Grace Software, the mostly work on JavaScript, and I was not good in Java because I never touched JavaScript in my whole life. I was a Python lover, so
Hmm.
Ursula recommended me that you should try JavaScript, and then I just have some course from Scrim and Free Codecamp, and I just fell in love with JavaScript. And now I'm just working with
Yes.
Nux View, and now recently Ursula gave me an automation work because of this T-shirt DevOps.
Yes.
So,
So
lol.
you you've had experience with you got experience with JavaScript, Vue, Nuxt, and I sent this additional thing. It's called na10.io. I feel like if you're interested in DevOps and automation, this is like one of the coolest tools out there. I have a lot of fun while using it. And if just an additional point before we move on to Mohit's question, if you work with us and you work with honesty and you work with high integrity, high efficiency, you're going to get a sparkling LinkedIn recommendation from us. And we're building a network. We have CEOs from like the creators of NA10, the creators of Base Row, the creators of Light Meter. All of these are new open source tools. They're all using Vue. They're all using GitLab. There's like this new, um, I guess, this new renaissance sort of coming in the open source world. We want to be a part of that. We want to teach you the skills, and then you're going to get a sparkling recommendation. And if you work with us, all of our partners can see your work in the open. There's no better resume than open source
Yeah.
pull requests and open source commits.
Yeah, completely agree. Like when you are contributing to open source, you have like you are showing your work in open, so that's really great. Like there's no other no other better resume other than your open source commits, contributions, pull requests, and anything like that. So yeah, that's I would completely agree with that. So we do have another question. Like I haven't contributed any organization yet, so should I start with this? So I would say like definitely, but Asal, yeah.
Um, so remember, my name is Arsala. I'm a student at the University of Toronto. Before anything else, when I introduce myself, I say that I'm a student because that's what I am right now. And as a student, I was facing some of the similar struggles. I didn't know, like, oh, there's this organization going and they have all these operations. I don't want to bother them. How do I start contributing? This isn't that kind of deal. We have an onboarding process, onboarding.gray.software, where we cover the tools we use. One of the core technologies, Markdown. We make sure that you're familiar with Markdown. We make sure you get some experience with fork, branch, commit, merge request, all that good stuff. So if you haven't contributed, hell yeah, come. We'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, so
No
grace of
prior experience of Git needed to contribute. Sorry, you can ask the question, and then
no,
we'll.
I was not asking question. Like I was saying, like gray software is really great for beginners. Like if you are beginners and if you want to try your hands into the open source world, you should definitely check out that. And if you are an intermediate or a pro open source software developer, you should also definitely check out to that, because yeah, that's
We
when we are
need you.
making some, yeah.
Yeah, if you're a pro, we need you. Like,
Yeah,
um,
that's
yeah, I have
hmm.
1.5 year of experience in the industry, but there's some engineers with 10 years of experience. So I would like to invite the best open source contributors, so that our ecosystem can be better for students.
Yeah, so yeah, so I was also talking about like ecosystem. So if you are really good at something, so you should definitely contribute to the community. You should definitely do some good work for the community, because you have learned everything from the community, so it's time to give back to them. So that's really necessary. If you have become if you have come a long way from your beginner phase to some intermediate or some pro phase, so you should definitely give something back to the community. And that's why we talk about open source, and that's why we talk about like mm, the best why it is best, because people are selfless there. People are contributing for good, and they are all working in a harmony, and community work is
Yes.
really admired there. So yeah.
And there's no borders.
Yeah,
Like
that's
all of us are citizens of this planet, working on the internet to build a better world.
yes, yes, yes. So yeah, the open source world is absolutely borderless. Like, yeah, we are all in one circle, and we are all a family. Like, no matters if someone is from US, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, anywhere in the world. So they're all a family. When we contribute to some open source organizations, we are all open to share our ideas, contribute to anything like we want.
Yes. There's a reason we're contributing, and when you ask yourself that reason in your heart, borders don't matter.
Yeah, completely agree. Great point. So, language required to contribute in Gray. So we discussed it
Yes.
earlier.
We've
So you can.
discussed that. It's in the tech stack. We have a section on our org website called um, languages and frameworks. So under it, you can see the framework. We still have a bit to write because, and in addition to all of these, I want to present videos and audio to explain why do we choose Vue? Why do we choose NA10? Because you shouldn't just take advice blindly. You should have good reason for it.
Yes. So, yeah, optimistic Enigma. So yes, I will try and get started as soon as possible. Looking forward to get my hands dirty with clean code and open source. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yes. And
And
if our code isn't clean, please help clean it up. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, do use static code analysis softwares too. Uh,
Yes.
yes. So Adil, if you have something to add for the new beginners, like if the whole onboarding process, like it's already been described by Asala, but still if you have something more to add to it, yeah, you can go on with that.
I'm actually the first contributor on onboarding process. So this is completely designed for the beginners. So if any person was just learn JavaScript or some hands dirty with JavaScript, he can easily contribute to Gray software. So I think in the 21st century, JavaScript is one of the most and beautiful language right now. So
Yes.
you can get your hand dirty. I just recommend JavaScript because I was just fell in love with JavaScript.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because of mentor you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
Yeah.
I remember when Adil and I had started collaborating for the first time. I told him that the three most important languages, in my opinion, right now for university students are JavaScript, Python, and Bash, because I notice a lot of students, like, they just get held back. And when I say Bash, I sort of mean know your way around a Unix terminal, know your way around Vim, because you may have to code on a server and you may not have the nice tools that you used to. So you're an engineer and you should get your handle on these things.
yes, yes. So Bash and Vim are really one of the most required stuff. Like if you're doing a server side programming, yeah, as discussed by mentioned by Asala. So if you are server side programming, you are getting some very limited resources to work on, and you don't have like VS code and things like that there. So
Yes.
they cannot auto correct you and things like that. So you should have also some practice with Bash commands. So by Bash, yeah, just as you mentioned, like you should be using Linux first of all, because that's also an open source, and we are open source people. So yeah, do use that. And yeah, so we have Crignol looking forward to contributing Gray Softwares.
I look forward to having you. I look forward to having as many passionate and enthusiastic people one thing I know is students are very busy. We have a lot of work, and a lot of times when you have to make the choice between, right, you had a full-time job, which is university, and then starting a side project and keeping it sustained, we're humans and we get burnt out as well. So I would say if you're passionate about contributing, take a long-term approach. If you try something and it doesn't work out in 2 weeks, you can take a week's break, come back at it. I promise the organization isn't going anywhere. So we're like, if you're passionate, if you're looking at this as long-term development, like this is, it's the organization that I wish I could have contributed to as a student, and nothing like it existed, so I had to build it. And I've had some of the most kind and considerate people come and help me take this thing to the next level. And I'm very excited about Code for Cause's Spring of Code program, because you guys are part of the open source community, you're key players, and you're introducing us to all of these excited new collaborators. So I look forward to seeing all of their faces on the Explorers tab.
Yeah. So yeah, we also like we will be very happy if we see our students, like those we know would get some have been pasted on the onboarding process and explorer batch or somewhere, like volunteer or anywhere. So yeah, would definitely happy to see that. And yeah, we have
Awesome.
onboarding.gray.software link in the description, sorry, in the chat box, and you can check out to that. You can contribute to the Gray Software, and you can also check out to the Twitter handles. So to get the latest updates. So I should paste the Twitter handles too, right? Yeah, one.
Yes. I would say the best thing to post is probably links. Oh, Javed, you took it right out of my mouth. So I would say go to http links.gray.software. It literally has every single link of ours on the internet, including all of our socials. And if you want to stay up to date, we're most active on LinkedIn and Twitter, but I'm exploring LinkedIn I'm more active on LinkedIn, and I think it's better to be active on there because you can showcase your work amongst professionals in the world. Like, these aren't trolls, these aren't random accounts. Though the Twitter dev community is strong, I just think for the business world and for your career growth, having a solid LinkedIn and having networks is probably one of the most valuable things you can have in the modern internet economy.
Yeah. So yeah, one question from Rohan. How much time does it take to get a good at open source contributing? Been a week since I have started, and yeah, that's a question.
So
Great one.
a lot of it matters on your intelligence and your efficient, like, intelligence matters, your consistency matters, and your ability to sustain that consistency over time. I guess those are two and the same things, but I've seen a lot of students come in, they get excited about it at first, and then they never get to the point where they actually become good at open source contributing. When you say it's been a week since you've started, I'm not sure what that means. But for me, a good pathway would probably look like, don't get too caught up in the code at first. What you probably want to do is complete our onboarding process. Then you can look at, like, if you've mastered Markdown, like, that's a great amount of open source. Like, I'll be honest with you, I thought most of my work would be coding lots of apps, but as the president of the organization, most of my work is Markdown. I've been writing a lot of Markdown because that's how you organize things. And even if you're a contributor, if you see some open issues, you can go in there, see what's up, leave something in Markdown. And me, myself, I think actually contributing to an open source repository, I started that just this year. Like, I was always contributing to my open source repositories, contributing to somebody else's, it's quite a task. And if I'm honest, even right now, I'm trying to build an organization where it's easier for newcomers to come in. It's still a little hard, but if you're willing to be one of those early people who helps build that environment for more students to come in, then then you're after my heart, man. Like Adil, me, for all of our team, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so the next generation of open source contributors is much easier for them.
Yeah, really, really great potential. I mean, the whole idea has really a huge potential. It can empower the whole community. And so one question was from Ritvik Srivastava. Will Gray Software come for GSoC?
We missed the GSoC deadline, unfortunately, to apply as an organization. But I think, Adil, maybe you can shed some more light. Is there still a way for us to get in?
Yeah, nowadays I'm just watching Kunal videos to learn about Google Summer of Code. So, because the second person which I think is my mentor is LinkedIn, so he
So
can contact me up.
I guess we got disconnected for a while. Yeah, please, if you can repeat the last few lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
was
could not
saying,
hear.
I just nowadays I'm just have my university and Google Summer of Code planning, so I'm just looking for a team or if I just contribute myself to another team has a Python or maybe in JavaScript, so he can just send me a request and I can just join his team.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, there may be some inconsistency. But about, if I could answer the Google Summer of Code question, we missed it this year, but I think there's still other open source programs. And um, yeah, maybe if we're not able to be as a host, I got to look into it. Maybe there's some other way. But it's open source. Like we could still participate as participants and still promote the great software projects.
Yeah. So yeah, one has to take in mind like GSoC is not defining the open source world. Like open
Yeah.
source world in itself is a really great world and really a great community. And whether the organization is taking part in GSoC or not doesn't define that organization is good or bad. So organization is good or bad by their motivation, by their vision. And I can see like Gray Software has really a great vision, and that's why I'm mentioning again and again like it has really a great potential. And the people like Arsala and Adil. They're really cool men, and they're really doing their job great. So I'm already seeing
Appreciate
all.
it.
I've already seen all their websites and all the community work they have done. Like they are really empowering every learner to get into the open source world, use those softwares, build one, and that's really something which is very hard because. When someone is beginning their development or someone is starting, so they don't so they hesitate to learn things uh, that thing is because that thing is they are out of their comfort zone. So
Mm.
most of the students don't want to get out of their comfort zone, and that's where the whole organization is working. Like they are providing you with some really useful resources to get you started with it and get your hands dirty with the open source. And to start your contribution workflow, they have really great whole workflow or whole scenario, so
Mm.
that entirely focuses on the newbies. So that really sounds awesome.
Yeah. And we wanted to focus on them because right now open source is still a little niche. It isn't in the mainstream amongst students in the way that I would like it to be. And to build off something you said, Abhishek, previously, where I think you said something along the lines of it's hard to be picking up these new languages and frameworks. It is hard. That's why I believe the solution to this is the university programs. If you have some sort of a project course structure in your university, you can talk to me. I was able to convince the University of Toronto, no, sorry, not me, us and a team, we were able to convince the University of Toronto, University of Engineering Technology Mardan, it's in Pakistan, and the University of Azad Kashmir in Pakistan. So there's like 3 different universities where there's a use case. If you guys are passionate about this, talk to your departments. You can create the change that you want to see, and then your future, all the students that come after you, they will get that experience working for an open source project while still getting university course credit.
Yeah, so Deepak said like, yeah.
Abhishek, just before we continue, is there a way to see the previous questions? Because I think we missed a couple.
Okay, so you can see the comment box.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah. So one question is from Deepak. Like, the language I have been taught at colleges and online is much different from actual production course code in open source software projects. So that's where the Gray software is coming to rescue you and how to cope up with that. So yeah, they are talking about onboarding, merging the open source software in the curriculum, like in the mainstream courses. So that's really where it will rescue you.
Yes, but even like some of this, there's deeper structural issues that I don't have the answer for right now. But even for me, this is a pretty much standard across many universities where they don't keep up with the latest trends in the industry. This is a hard problem. There's active research being done on it. But I would say, like Abhishek said, all of our learning resources are online, so you can put in the effort. But of course, this should be a part of your university education. So you can talk to your department or get some advice about how to, from your department, request this avenue for open source work.
Yeah, that's great. So I guess we missed that question. Like, what according to you is the best way to showcase your open source works and contributions?
That's another great question. Adil had mentioned that he doesn't have a resume because LinkedIn is his online, ever-evolving resume. And I vibe with that a lot. Like, showing your work on LinkedIn is great. Also, if you do open source work on LinkedIn, you can just ask your maintainer, can you leave some feedback on LinkedIn? And many people will be very happy. If you're an honest person with integrity, you want to work hard, then you'll find great people who are like that, and we want each other to succeed. So I will leave you excellent LinkedIn recommendations. And also just there's tools out there now. One of them is called, I don't know if it's called CodeRank. Let me just check it out because it may be called CodeRank. Yes, coderank.io. So this is another thing that I'm encouraging people to start using, because I guess it's an additional LinkedIn, but it's a developer-focused LinkedIn. I thought I had logged in. Let me just log in and you guys will be able to see this.
So it's already like both of the people have shared really great resources. Like it's just a 40 to 50 minutes
show
long
this later. Yeah.
talk, and they have already shared really great resources, free resources like Free Code Camp, and then this Coders Rank, and then Scrimba and N8NIO. So that's really you get a chance to learn a lot more when you engaged with the Gray software, and that's all the motive of the Gray software is. Like so we do have another 5 minutes, so if you have some other questions you can ask. I guess there's no more new questions.
I guess we could do a lightning round. Like there are new questions coming in. There's one, like Javed asked another question. I'm a first year student, beginner in data structures and algorithms. What advice would you give for my open source future? One misconception I see a lot is people think I need to be a master of computer science before I go into software development. And you'll notice like a lot of times the best software developers, they aren't even the best computer scientists. They know their data structures, they know their algorithms, they understand their big old complexity, but um, like I've seen high school kids code Chrome extensions that look better than my Chrome extensions. I've seen them code websites that look better than mine. So there's clearly something there where if you're a first year student and you're a beginner in data structures and algorithms, nothing stops you from going on Scrimba, going on Free Code Camp. And I guarantee you, by third year, you'll be a much better student than I was because I didn't have these resources at that time.
Yeah. So that is the best thing about development field or any software or computer science engineering field. Like you have everything open. So every bit of information that you need to learn to get better at coding or get better at computer science or get better in software engineering field itself. So there is whole of the knowledge is open. You just have to give your fingers some give your fingers some pain, and that's it. You just google it and it's there on your screen. So if you
For
have a
sure.
will to learn, you will definitely learn a lot. And there's no
We have some
boundaries
more.
here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have some more questions. Um, would directly contacting the maintainers to be assigned some beginner issues be all right? This is totally all right. Our Discord is open. So if you find one of the issues, right now, I would say hold off on GitHub. Try and check out some stuff on GitLab that needs to be done since we're still figuring out some synchronization issues. But yeah, definitely join on Discord. Um, you're in junior year, but you feel as your experience as a freshman. I understand this. After second year at University of Toronto, I didn't know how to build a website. I was like, I'm, I've like drowned $19,000 into this. I don't know how to build a website. So don't worry about it. The tools and the learning experiences out there right now, they're top notch. So if you're starting as a freshman, if you're enthusiastic and you're excited to learn, then the world is yours. Don't feel
Yeah.
like you lost any time.
Yeah, so I would say like the man is never late. So whenever you are starting, it's the daytime. And there's no one who's gonna stop you if you have determination to learn at any point of your life. So as Asala mentioned, like he has seen some kids developing Chrome extension that are way better than him, I guess.
Yeah.
So they, it's showing that the coding or the software engineering field is age independent, time independent. Whenever you start, it's your day. And yeah, you can rock with that.
Yeah. Like I said, I
So
I was there's some people who at the age of 15, they're like building web apps. I started coding at the age of 18. So I came into university, and of course, like I saw the same things you guys did. I saw, wait, this guy's been programming since 12. This guy's been programming since 15. How am I going to keep up? But you can actually keep up. And in the tech field, things are changing so fast that if you got your eye out, and I had my eye out for technologies like Vue.js, technologies like NA10, you can get like the people who got good at Golang early, I think they got a lot of benefits. People who are gonna right now learn Rust, learn Python, learn JavaScript, Vue. The future of software development is yours, and I want to create an environment where you can pursue that knowledge and learning in an applied place, because you gotta apply the
Uh,
knowledge to it.
yeah, I think for me, the focus and passion are required if you want to learn something. So, focus and passion are the two things. If you have, you can learn anything or you can develop anything. For me, so I think there's a lot of questions after this session. So I think if I can just send messages and also messages up on Discord also.
yeah,
Yes,
so we will be pasting all the links, all the essential links, where you can you can get in contact with the mentors and the gray software, and their Discord channel and everything else in the chat. Oh, we do have some.
yes.
Yeah, thanks, Ursula.
No
I
Yeah,
should
worries.
that,
paste
the
it now
last
in the
one is a
comment.
great question. I think unpaid internship versus no internship. I think I'm just also facing
So
this problem.
unpaid internship versus no internship, I would say if someone is creating a business, like a for-profit business, and they're trying to grab you for an unpaid internship in software engineering, then I wouldn't do that. I would say if, and they will make the case for you that, oh, you're going to get experience, you're going to get hands-on development. I would say you should rather put that efforts towards something in open source. Right now, the way we work is our core team, they get contracts. So Adil gets paid in contracts, Raj gets paid in contracts. Um, and I want to give more people contracts. You can see all of our organizations, since it's an open organization, even our accounting is available on Open Collective. So as the money comes in, I want to give contracts for open source work to passionate contributors.
So yeah, so here is the Discord link. You can uh, get in touch with in the Discord with the Gray Software mentors and maintainers right there. And yeah, this is the Twitter handler. You should definitely follow their work. They are really doing their job greatly, and you should definitely give them thumbs up and follow on Twitter.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um, I wanted to ask Abhishek. I feel like there would still be some more answers, and we could go into a deeper dive into more of these. Could we organize? Like, I love the Code for Cause community that you've built here. Could we organize um, a follow up AMA of sorts?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not the organizer to be honest, but
Okay,
yeah, definitely. I would ask the ask Kunal or Anuj Bhaiya to have separate one follow up for the Gray Software, and that's really great. That would be really great. So I am
that
happy to host that, or I'm happy to view it on live stream. So that's
this
already
was great, man.
that's already great, awesome work that you all are doing. And we do have some LinkedIn handles from for Adil, so you can follow or connect with him on LinkedIn. So here's the LinkedIn profile, and yeah, I will be pasting all the links in the description just after this live stream ends. And please do consider subscribing to this channel if you're new to it, and liking the video, giving up a thumbs up, and yeah, what else? Like, it's really a great webinar. Like, thank you very much, Adil and Arsana. I mean, you are doing your job fabulously and amazing. You are really amazing man, and that's all I have to say. Like, I'm really
Wonderful.
stunned with the work that you are doing for the community. Like, I really appreciate the work you're doing, and I've become a huge fan of yours after
Abhishek, honestly,
yeah.
you're
I'm the big
making me
fan of
blush here.
Kunal. So
Yeah, you're making
hi
me
from
blush
my
here.
side.
But
If you
both
can
of
say
us,
hi
we're
from my
big
side,
fans of
man.
Kunal. Yeah. You're
Yeah, I
making us
mean,
blush, but we respect Code for Cause a lot. I remember when the call came through, like
thank you.
both of us used to watch Kunal before this, so being invited was an honor. And I remember telling Adil, we need to create an ecosystem so that people like Kunal would be happy and impressed. People like you, Abhishek, you see the work, you know what this means. It's still the early stages. We want to build a lot of cool infrastructure for a lot of students. I see a question about when will applications be open. There are no applications. There's an
They're already up.
onboarding.gray.software. You can join in, and as the team grows, we'll continue to assign good work around. I appreciate the love, Ayush. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so you should definitely onboard, and if you are willing to learn, you will get to learn a lot from Gray Software. And
100%.
yeah, 100%, 101%. Okay, so
All
I guess
right.
that's it for today, and I guess there's no more questions in the comments. Like, if you want, so we can extend this for 5 minutes more. But I guess there are no more new questions. That
I
was
think this was great, and we will have a lot more stuff to dive into in the AMA. I usually I forget that there's still a lot of new contributors out there, and even though there is stuff on my website and many other websites, it's different when you get the chance to communicate with somebody and they get to answer your questions. So I'd love to do another AMA or organize another session. This was
yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, so I would also love to get in touch with you. And about Kunal, like he had some emergency, so he could not host the today's session. But I guess if you are willing to get a talk in another session and extend this session or a follow up, so I'm really happy to have it. And I guess everyone for Code for Cause really welcomes the idea like you have, and the Grace Software Foundation is really welcoming. And yeah, that's all. Like
Wonderful.
wonderful. Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful.
Awesome.
So yes, how to manage semester and open source contributions.
So that's one of the problems that we're trying to solve, because necessarily when you're a university student you have a lot of work and you want to contribute to open source, which is also a lot of work. So we're trying to merge the two, and we're going to talk more about that, I guess, in the follow-up.
Yeah, yeah. So what are the tech stack used? So we have already discussed all the tech stacks.
Yes.
So if the video is recorded and you can rewatch it. And yeah,
I
you can
highly
rewatch it
recommend
after the
rewatching it.
live stream ends. Yeah, that's
Definitely.
highly recommended by your too. So you should definitely watch it.
And like, you guys gave some great questions, and I'll take all of these questions and post them on our FAQ page.
That would be really awesome. That would be really
Yeah.
awesome. So thanks for coming. It was really a great session. I mean, it was really an awesome one and out of the world session. And thank you everyone for joining the stream. Like it's really a great engagement from the audience too. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we do have another session of code. Sorry, Spring of Code for tomorrow's too. So we do have two sessions, and after this, uh, so we have like this agenda to introduce some great open source organizations and softwares with the help of Spring of Code program. And that's what we are doing. Like we have introduced you to Gray Software Foundation, sorry, Gray Software, and that's one of the
And you
greatest
guys
one.
have given us and you guys have given us a platform. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to doing more work.
Thank you very much. We all appreciate your we all
Nice.
appreciate it. Okay, so I guess that's it for today, guys. And I will be sharing everything on the comment section or on the this channel on the video description. All the links, all the required Discord channels, uh, Twitter handles, on social handles of Adil and Asana and the Grace Software. And you should definitely check that out. Contact with mentors, contact with maintainers, contact with Asana, Adil, and just do your work, learn every day, and that's it. That's all the thing is.
My man.
So bye everyone.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye, Adil. Bye.